Alright, hello guys, welcome back to this channel. My name is Ezekiel. In this video, we want to talk about some more discussion on the new tax ID that has been mentioned by the federal government, right? So a lot of questions have been boiling in a lot of people's mind, and in this video, we want to address some of these few questions, right? So let's move into the video very quickly. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that the tax ID is meant for those who are legally obliged to pay tax, those who are qualified legally to pay tax. That means age wise they can pay tax. They are running a business, they can pay tax. They are earning an income, they can pay tax. Whatever the case you fall into, provided you can pay tax, you must be able to have a tax ID. So tax ID is meant for those who have businesses, one, those who run an enterprise, SMEs, those who also earn an income. If you earn an income, you're working as a staff, you have to pay tax as well. So the government is giving everyone from now till the 2026, that is 1st January 2026, to get a tax ID. And I made a previous video about now defining what tax ID is. So how do you get your tax ID? It's simple. You just need to get your tax ID from JTB, right? So you can get a JTB thing that can stand as your tax ID. You can also get an FIRS thing that can also get your stand as your tax ID. It's as simple as that. So no stress or no issue about it. So the first thing you must understand is that you can get it by going to the closest FIRS office physically. Go to the FIRS office, tell them you want a tax ID. They will generate one for you in your name. But as I understand that some of you are very busy. You work 9 to 5, so you don't even have time allotted for you to be able to go to the FIRS office to generate, or maybe the FIRS office in your own area is far from you. So you can reach out to us to help you work on generation of those for the tax ID. So the tax ID, meanwhile, is not an identification card. It's not a means of identification that you need to be able to maybe submit like your normal NIN slip or NIN card or your international passport. No, it is not a paper printout. It is just that number that the federal government used to recognize you as someone who is taxable, or who is paying tax, or who should be paying tax. So another question some people are asking is that how will this benefit ordinary Nigerians? Now the aim of this simple identification is to reduce duplication and close loopholes that allow tax evasion. So a lot of people evade their tax because they are not even in the bracket of tax payment. So if you don't even have a tax identification, what do you do? So that means you don't, you don't even pay tax, the federal government will not know. So what about if you don't want to pay tax? What now happens? If you don't get this tax ID, you'll not be able to operate your bank account from 2026. If you are a salary earner and you are taxable, don't forget, I've made several videos before now to talk about those salary earners that can be taxed. So if you are earning and you are paid about 70,000 naira per year, per month, that will amount to about roughly almost a million naira, 900,000 or thereabout in at the end of the year. After they have removed the deductibles, from my research, I noticed that there are some things that are deductible. Your rent is deductible, right? And that rent is deductible up to about 500,000 or thereabout. I'm not sure, but I think up to about 500,000 naira. So after they have deducted 500,000 naira and all the other necessary deductibles from your income, and they notice that you still have up to 800,000 naira above, then that money can be taxed. So that money that will be taxed, if you don't now have a tax ID, that would cause a lot of issues for you, because you will not be able to operate that particular bank account you have. Even though you say it's a no pay account, you see that all these different platforms will start requesting for a tax ID thereafter. Don't forget that before now, one thing you need majorly for your bank account, to open a bank account, especially in this all these online platform fintech companies, is just your NIN and maybe a BVN. Now that NIN number you're seeing, 21 something, is standing as your tax ID right now. You understand what I'm saying? So that tax ID is what the federal government will be using to track your transaction and be able to know. Don't forget, when the Olukayode also I think the person in charge of all this that supervised the implementation of this NTAA, right? He said something that all transactions are known by the federal government. So whatever you do, if you buy a house in Kaduna, they can see it, they can track it, right? If you buy a car in Lagos, right, they can see whatever you do. I think I watched an interview that he made with on Channels TV. And I saw him making those statements, and it was actually very scary that the federal government can know all the transactions you are making. But that's the truth. They need to be able to know all these transactions so that they will know how compliant you are to the payment of tax. If you are not compliant to payment of tax, then they will know how to deal accordingly. I believe you understand what I'm trying to say. So um, this tax ID, does it also apply to businesses? A lot of people have been asking this. Yes, it applies to businesses, and for unincorporated businesses, that are businesses that are yet to be registered, your personal TIN or your tax ID is sufficient. So for companies, NGOs, incorporated trustees, and other registered entities, a TIN will be automatically generated with your CAC registration. So right now, most businesses comes with CAC. Most CAC registrations now come with a TIN number. So there's a way we do it these days that once you register a company, on the certificate below it you will see a TIN number there. So that's the current way that the federal government is trying to liaise or interact with the CAC to help track every business. So every business is already having an identity on it that can be tracked for tax compliance, right? So all businesses, everyone should be paying tax. And finally, let's talk about those in diaspora, those abroad. Do they need tax ID? Yes, you also need tax ID as well. That tax ID is how you can track your investment in Nigeria. And what do I mean by that? So let's say you have houses that you are using for rent, you have businesses that is running in Nigeria and everything. Your tax ID is how you are going to be paying tax. So that way, the government can measure whatever profit you're making and then tax you based on that. Even foreigners too are allowed to get this tax ID as well. So there are a lot of other questions that I've answered so far in my current video and in previous videos. So if you have any further question concerning the current tax ID, kindly do it to send a DM or just drop your question in the comment section, and we will interact with you and respond to that as soon as possible. My name is Akinbola Ezekiel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Peace out.